All right. Saying we're live. Are we
All right.
live?
I think we're live. How's it going? If anybody is out there watching this live, if you guys came on early, congratulations. Early bird gets the worm. If you guys are watching, please put in the comments that you're here, say your name, say where you're from, because we're going to have people from all across the country watching this. Please, well, let's see. Let's introduce ourselves. Vinny, feel free. Introduce yourself.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, everyone. I'm Vinny Celeste, the equity sales manager here at DeRosa Group, and I'm joined by Hoan Thai of Hoan Zone.
Yep.
We're excited to tell you about an event we're planning out in December and really want to dive in and tell you all about it and answer any questions about the event, but also about the content that we're talking about, which is our North Carolina portfolio.
All
So,
right. Well, we
hey,
got a
Chad.
Yeah, we got Chad, we got Adrian. How's it going? See, this is live because you guys are commenting right now, and we are seeing it, and we are shouting you guys out. So keep the comments going on. Chad's from Indiana, and then Adrian's from New York City. Glad
Ooh, New
to
York,
have you.
me too. All right.
Oh yeah. All right. All right. So we do have an exciting event today. We're going to be talking about a multifamily property. We're also going to be telling you guys about an event that we are having that we hope you join us on. But let's get into the presentation, Vinny, if you don't mind.
Sure, I'll take it away. All right, so the retreat's called DeRosa Insiders Multifamily Retreat. I have to say, we were going back and forth on the name of this for a little while. We settled on retreat because it's so much more than a conference or a tour. We'll get all into it, but it's going to be an exclusive event with only about 20 people coming. And so, yeah, really happy to tell you all about it. Uh,
Awesome.
yeah, as you guys know, so our motto here is transforming lives through real estate. Really, there's three legs of that, right? There's you transform lives by providing a way to get into real estate passively and providing passive returns to our investors. You can also improve the lives of residents of the properties that you own.
Mhm.
Thirdly, as you guys know here, we're really serious about education. We've seen Matt's books, we see Justin's posts and all this, and we're always on Bigger Pockets trying to network and help people do what we do. So that's kind of what we're here to talk a little bit more about.
Yeah, and actually, in terms of, I do want to touch upon this a little bit because yesterday on our Bigger Pockets multifamily boot camp, we were talking about how we are able to transform lives. And Matt Fairclough, for those who know, he asked me to share some of the things that I've done with some of my tenants. And I mean, it was just I call it like just regular human things, right? Just being there for each other. But I was able to do a couple of things for my tenants that people thought were above and beyond. And so one of the things was I have a tenant who is wheelchair bound, and the wife would have to carry her husband upstairs every time he needed to go to the bathroom, right? And even if she was okay with that, I wanted him to have the dignity of independence where he didn't have to rely on his wife to carry him up the steps every time he wanted to go to the bathroom. So, because it was my property and I have the ability and the means, I decided to build a bathroom on the first floor so that he wouldn't have to be carried upstairs. So now he could roll himself into the bathroom himself and take care of himself so that he doesn't have to be so reliant on his wife. It makes him feel like a man again. So, that was one of the cool things that I was able to do. The other thing is, I have a woman tenant of mine. She's 78, 79 years old, and she recently went to the hospital. Uh, and she doesn't have any friends, family. She never got married. She never had any kids. But I was able to visit her at the hospital, and it's neat because if you say it on paper, it's her landlord visits her at the hospital, right? It's like it's strange, but it's just a human thing to do. So these are some of the things that you get to do when you are a landlord, when you are in real estate. You get to transform lives, you get to help people, and ultimately that's what it's all about. A couple more shout outs. Teresa Crowley from Philadelphia is here, and then we got Jaden George from Nashville. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So if you guys are
What's up,
watching
guys?
this, yeah, put in the comments, say your name, where you're from, let us know what you got going on. All right, so let's get back to this. Let's get back to this chat or this presentation.
Yeah, Hone, to pause there for a second. How does it feel, firstly, to impact lives that way? How does
I
that
mean, it's
feel?
pretty cool. It's pretty cool,
It's
right?
pretty
It's pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah, I like doing that a little bit more than I like just giving away money to charity because when you give it away to charity, charities are doing fantastic things, right? But you're giving the money to this charity and it's having a really big impact, but sometimes it feels like you don't see the direct impact of your dollars, right? But here, it's like I am putting money towards this person. I am helping this person directly, and you can see it on their face, the impact of it, right? The other day, I took one of my tenants, older woman, she's like 77, and I took her grocery shopping, right? Because she has trouble sometimes carrying the groceries and all of that kind of stuff. So I took her grocery shopping, and then I actually ended up paying for all the groceries as well. Brought it into her house, helped her unload it. It was a good feeling, being able to do stuff like that. So if you ever get a chance to do that, make sure you guys give it a shot. It's pretty fun.
All right. So let's
Yeah.
dive back in here. So, there's much more than just financial return. Like we're talking about, there's a lot of, personal returns, and putting good out into the world feels good. But let's talk a little bit about DeRosa's portfolio here and where we're at sitting right now. So looking at about $150 million assets under management, 1,800 plus units. And as I alluded to earlier, what we're really excited to tell you more about is our North Carolina portfolio, particularly because we're providing an opportunity to come walk the property with us, really spend a day in the life, and actually, fun enough, I'm going to digress for a second. I'm in the property management company's office right now, filming this because we were out walking properties, and what we want to do is provide an experience as close to that as we can get, and it will be just that. We'll be walking these properties and diving more into what's going on there. But yeah, so 1,800 total units, and to get there, you have to raise about $56 million to do that. So
Let,
let's
let,
continue.
let's make our screens real big again. I want to
Yeah,
ask you a question about what you experienced. So you are at the property management company right now. What was that?
yeah,
What is this experience like? What's cool about where you are and what you just did today? Go into that a
yeah,
little.
guys. So let's paint the picture. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where I'm really based out of. I drove up to Greensboro today to walk a property with Justin, who I'm sure you all know, and the property management company came out with us to walk it. We're interested in a deal out here in Greensboro. So we walked the property with our property manager, our contractors. Actually, the seller was there himself, and also the broker as well. So interestingly, walking these properties, you're looking for things that you're trying to build a business plan, right? You're trying to see what you're going to do to add value. And I'm there with the best of intentions and looking for things. I have the camera out and I'm trying to zoom in on shipping paint and all that sort of stuff. And the property manager nudges me and says, "You're going to want a picture of this. Like, make sure you get this and send it to Justin. Send this to Hervé and Matt." Right. And so what we want to do is provide an opportunity to have that experience that I just had, which is like I would have just walked right past all this stuff. And meanwhile, it's the potential of a foundation issue, or if they're looking at flooding and grading and that sort of stuff. That it takes being there in person to get the street smarts to do. I've read the books too, but getting to walk to this morning with the property management company, it is something that I think will help others as well.
Right. And
So
that just adds so much confidence to you, doesn't it? When you like walk through a property with somebody who knows what they're doing to point things out specifically, like look at this, take a picture of this, that all of a sudden makes you go, "Oh, I'm really confident that we did a thorough walkthrough." And
yeah,
if you're brand new, it can be intimidating. I remember the first time I ever bought a property, I'm walking through the property, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. And
right.
things that look really bad today. So I've been an investor for 11 years, right? So how I look at a property today is very different than I looked at it the first time. In the past, I might have looked at a light switch cover, right? And the light switch cover was crooked or dirty or something like that. And me 11 years ago might have thought that was a big deal and I would have been worried about it. Today, I'm like, whatever. That's $1.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing, right? And you walk through, but then big things that I could see that could be a problem, I would have totally missed 11 years ago, right?
Right.
So being able to see things differently, see things from the lens of an experienced investor, like it changes everything for you as you're trying to grow in this business. And the better you can see things, the more you can do, right? I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. So
Absolutely,
let's
yeah. And the confidence comes from too, because you're not going to walk past that thing that the property manager told you to take a picture of ever again, probably.
Right,
So
right.
yeah,
And real quick, let's look at this slide. Let's talk about the accomplishment right here, right? The DeRosa Group as a whole, DeRosa Group is made up of a bunch of people, hence group, right? DeRosa Group. Real estate investing does not have to be an individual sport. I know a lot of people get into real estate investing and they just want to do everything themselves. But in order to get to this 1,800 unit number, That's an incredible thing, and that's an incredible machine that's run by multiple people. You have people like me and Vinny, and then we have Matt and Hervé and Nabiko and Justin and all these other people who put in time and effort and money into the deals. So if you see, we raised $56 million to buy this 1,800 unit portfolio that's now worth $150 million. Guys, $150 million is nine figures. It's crazy to think how many people we have housing for. And that's just within this group. And then there are other groups that exist. It's like we get to really transform lives because we are housing people. All right, we got another person. We got Jeff Donatello. Dr. Jeff is in the house, guys. Regenerative medicine. Jeff does that. So let's keep on going. But I just want to
Yeah,
touch
let's keep it
upon how
rolling.
many units this was, how many lives are impacted. It's crazy. It's really crazy to me. All right, so let's keep on going.
All right. So, like we were highlighting before, we're going to zoom in today more on the North Carolina portfolio. So, we're looking at 565 units across three properties here. We're looking at villas at the Vineyard, townhomes, and Diamond Ridge. And let's keep into the theme of transforming lives. That's 565 units. That's a lot more residents than that, right? So, lots of
Right,
people impacted by these properties. Where we took them over and in putting in a lot of capital improvement dollars and really trying to reface these things. And you can see the performance of the properties increasing and the value of the properties increasing as well. So to
right.
allude to go back a half a step here, actually, funny enough, Hone and I met officially yesterday. But we've
Yep.
been, in the same atmosphere, same meetings, and kind of been putting a face to the email address yesterday. But we've been chatting for a little while because Hone's on the board of the 336 unit Diamond Ridge off to the right. So Hone, tell us
Right.
a little bit about
Yeah, so what's really cool is we bought that November 2020. So we are in the 2 year anniversary of buying that property all the way on the right there. And for those who have never seen what hundreds of units look like, well, there it is. That's what it looks like. If you're trying to be an investor in hundreds of units, there you go. There you have it. It looks like a bunch of little buildings or a bunch of big buildings. It's not one giant skyscraper. It is all across like 2 levels, 3 levels, maybe 4 levels, and you house hundreds of people like that. Within these complexes, you're going to have parking, you're going to have dog parks, you're going to have your swimming pool, you're going to have your playground. What else are you going to have? Oh, and then you're going to have to worry about external lighting and storage facilities and maybe antennas and maybe on-site washer and dryer in a different building. So there's a lot of neat things that you have to play with when you're trying to invest in something like this. But what's beautiful is you do it with a team and you have people like an asset manager. For us, that's Justin. Justin's our asset manager, and he goes around with the property manager, with the contractors, and he turns around these units. So when we bought Diamond Ridge, that's the one all the way on the right, that 336 unit. When we bought Diamond Ridge, we bought that for 18.5 million. Okay, $18.5 million. And at the time, that was the largest acquisitions that we had done. Since then, we've gone up. We recently did a 670 unit acquisition in 2021. But at the time, November 2020, 336 unit Diamond Ridge, that was the biggest purchase. Here's what's fun about that one. So $18.5 million. We raised for that one. I'm trying to remember. I think we raised somewhere in like, do you remember, Vinny? I forget. I think it was like 4 plus 1, 2, 3. It might have been like 7 million, $8 million or something like that. And if you can find that, Vinny, let us know. But
Yeah, yeah.
we had to raise the purchase money, but then we also raised the rehab money. I'm going to get into a punchline, and then I'm going to go into story mode about like buying the property and renovating it. But we bought it 2 years ago, 18.5 million. We put $2.5 million into the property for rehab. Can anybody guess what that property is worth today? Okay, so 18.5 we bought it for. We put another 2.5 million into it. If you guys are doing the math, we're all in for $21 million, right? We are all in for $21 million today. Fast forward 2 years, What do you guys think the property is worth? Type it in the comments. Oh, I would love to hear it. I am not going to tell you guys the answer just yet. Right? I'm not going to tell you guys the answer just yet. Type it in. I want to see who gets closest to being right. All right. So now, how do we do this? How do we buy this? How do we buy this $18.5 million property? Right. So what you got to do in order to buy this property is you got to come up with the equity. That's essentially, if you guys are thinking about it like buying a house, it's a down payment. You got to come up with the down payment, and then you're going to get a bank loan. Well, $18.5 million property, 336 units. Guess what? It's no different. It's actually no different. But what is different, right? What is different is that instead of the money coming from your pocket, you get to raise it from other people. That's what's really cool. So the 30% down that we put was raised by other people. So what's that?
We ended up raising like $11 million here.
Oh, was it $11 million?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. So for 18.5 times 30%, that's close to 6 million. It's 5.5 million, right? 5.5 million, right? And then that's the down payment. So then you got to add closing costs and all of those kind of things. So let's call it $6 million, right? So $6 million was the down payment that we needed. And we were able to raise that from limited partners, right? We raised that from limited partners. And who's a limited partner? Well, that could be you. You guys watching this, you guys might come on a webinar one day in the future, and you might hear about us raising money for a future deal. 500 units, 400 units, 300 units, whatever. And then we will give you guys the opportunity to put money into that deal. So that money that we raised from you guys will be used as the down payment. And then the bank is going to lend us the rest of the money. And then that's how we buy it. And what we did for Diamond Ridge, in order to do the rehab, we were able to raise that money as well. So we raised that money and we put it in escrow, and we used that money to do the work. So let's see. We have some guesses coming in. We got some guesses coming in, right?
Some of them pretty close.
Some of them are pretty. Yeah. We got one guess at 45 million. Mez says 36 million. We got Heather at 40 million. We got one person at 32 million. Another person, they said, I'm going to up mine to 50 million. All right, that's interesting. Vinny, do you know the answer? Do you know the actual answer?
Yes,
Vinny?
we do. Yeah, let's get a drum roll. So we're looking at north of 37 million. That property has more than doubled in value, and we're well approaching 40 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So
All right. So
pretty crazy.
Mez and Heather, you guys are close.
Yeah. All right. Let's see who's the winner then. Are we doing the Price is Right deal where you can't go over, or let's set it at 38 million.
If it's at 38, that's like right in half. That's right.
Let's say it at 38.5 million. Then.
Oh, then Heather's the winner, right? Heather's the winner because she's
Very
closest at 40 million. All right, guys.
Right.
I want you guys to understand what we're saying there. So if we said 38 million minus 21 million, that means we made $17 million out of thin air. Think about that, guys. $17 million. And if you know who we are, if you know who I am, and you know Vinny, and you know Matt and Justin, right? We're just regular guys. We're just regular East Coast guys who decided to get into real estate. And here we are with one property, one 336 unit property, able to create $17 million out of thin air. That is what's incredible to me in real estate. Like the fact that we can do that in 2 years, $17 million. What's the math there? 8.5 million a year? That's pretty special, right? And let's just say we cut it up, and let's say there was 8 operators. Well, that's $1 million an operator. It doesn't exactly work that way, right? But it's $1 million an operator if you look at it that way. But you get to do that in real estate. So how did we do that? Well, we buy the building, and then step 1 is to turn the thing around and reposition it in the market. We needed to give this place a facelift. It was an ugly building. The pool didn't work. And there was a lot of drug dealers in this property, a lot. So one crazy thing that we came up with was to hire an off-duty police officer, right? So police officer, they just did their 9 to 5, right? They did their full shift. Now they're out of work. They want to do overtime. Well, guess what? We have an opportunity for you. So we hire them. We pay the police force, right? We're paying them, and they're giving the officer time and a half to go to our property and drive around. Guess what that did? It scared away all of the drug dealers eventually, right? Scared away all of the drug dealers. And then it opened up all of those units. And then what we did was we renovated those units. And then what we were able to do is we were able to put in a new person at market rate, right? At market rate. And Vinny, the what we bought it at, was it 600, like average rent per unit was like 650 or something?
630 something, I believe.
630 something. What are we at now?
We're now at 900 and some odd. We're approaching
Right.
300, a rent increase of $300 a month. And what I want to highlight here is, when you first hear that, you might be thinking, people rents are increasing $300. But you know what? We're providing such a better service, and people are very happy to stay there. We're adding value and also providing a much safer place for people to live, just as Hoan's describing. So what we try to do is meet that market rent by taking these properties and not exceeding market. We want to be right at the market here. And we were
Right.
able to increase rents $300 a month by providing people a safe place to live that they're happy to call home, and is in line with what you would pay anywhere else in that city.
Right, right. So that's the really cool thing. And I actually think recently we decided to market for just below market rents as well, which means we're not only giving somebody a fantastic place to live, but we're also coming in just below market so that they're getting better value. Right. So I think that's pretty cool that we get to do that. So
Yeah.
in terms of turning this building around, mind you, 336 units, that is, it's big. It's a lot. It's like building after building after building, parking lot, road. Like you can drive through the thing. It's huge. It's gigantic. The So to turn it around, we needed to reposition how people felt about it. So step one was to get the police officers to drive around and to get the people who shouldn't have been there, get them uncomfortable so that they want to leave. So we got all of them to leave, right? And then we needed to start evicting people who weren't paying, right? There are some people who are taking advantage of the situation. The management wasn't as good beforehand. So when we bought the property, we were buying a property that was mismanaged, right? Some people call that slumlording. We are not. And so this is where we get to add value. When we bought the property, we looked at the lighting. So we made sure we lit this place up at night, right? And then in terms of the look of the outside, we installed a playground for kids, right? Because how safe do you feel when you're walking around your apartment complex and you see young parents with little kids playing on a swing set? Like you're like, oh, well, this is a really nice place to be. And so that's what we did. We wanted the face of the building to be beautiful and inviting, and so that people would go, "Wow, I want to live here!" Right? I want to live here. So then, we also swimming pool. We worked on that. We made that really nice, right? We made that really nice. And then bit by bit, we turned over unit after unit after unit. We got rid of all of the non-paying tenants, and then we put in brand new people who actually want to live there, who are good quality tenants. So we're turning around this, like I would call this like a D class building, and we're making it like a C plus B minus. Like that's quite the turnover, and it paid off in spades, doubling in 2 years. It's crazy, right? It's super crazy that we were able to do that. So, what else did we do here? What else did I want to mention? So, LP returns. So somebody, Devin says, has the LP returns increased? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Here's what's really crazy. Here's what's really crazy. As a board member, what I'm doing is I'm sitting with the board, all of the board members, and we're discussing the progress of the project. What the value of the building is today was projected 5 years from now. So we're receiving numbers today that we thought were going to happen in 5 years, which is crazy. So if that's how it went, like I'm excited for the future. This is a long term project. This is a long term hold. This is a between a 7 to 10 year hold, which is pretty cool because we're getting cash flow for all you LP investors. You're going to be getting cash flow for the next 7 to 10 years, right? And then when we finally sell, who knows what this thing's going to be worth? I think it's going to be worth way more than the projections that we had, because our projections are always conservative. Now, the market is the market, and you can only play crystal ball for so long, right? You you have educated guesses. You're trying to predict what the cap rate might be in the future. You're going to try to predict what the NOI is going to be. What we didn't realize that when the pandemic happened, North Carolina became a hotspot for people to want to live in. It was an amazing thing. Oh, and a funny story. I was in Vegas not too long ago, and I'm sitting outside in the pool, and other people joined. I'm just talking to them, and there was this one family, wife, husband, and daughter, and I said, "What are you guys traveling for? What are you doing?" And they said that they're going around before school starts, and I said, "Oh, okay, where's school?" And she said, "It's in Winston-Salem, North Carolina." I was like, "Really?"
Wow.
I said, "Okay." In my brain, I think the future are the people who are 18, 19, 20, 21 years old right now. They are going to be the future. 10 years from now, they're going to be the ones who are 30 and like owning businesses and doing all of that kind of stuff. So I asked her, "How do you like Winston-Salem, North Carolina? Like, do you enjoy being there? Like, would you enjoy living there long term?" And she said, "Absolutely." And like she said it with real enthusiasm. And I just thought to myself, we nailed it. We nailed it in terms of where we're investing. Because if she's saying that now, it's only going to get more popular because this is where people are going. So when we bought the thing, it wasn't exactly the hotspot, but now for sure it is booming. So
That's awesome.
coincidence, super coincidence,
Right.
right? It happens, but that right place at the right time. But how were we able to be in the right place at the right time? We made the relationships with the brokers, and then we were in position to buy this property, right? We were in position to buy this property when it was for sale. We were able to raise the $11 million that Vinny said we raised. We were able to raise that when it came time to actually buying that. And how do you buy 336 units? Well, maybe you buy 95 units first, or you buy 134 units first, right? And you add it up, add it up, add it up. When you add them all up, you're going to have hundreds of units. So then when the broker goes, "Hey, would you want to buy this unit?" And you say yes, and they ask you, "Are you able to buy this?" You show them your portfolio of what you've already done. And they go, "Oh, okay, yeah, you're totally credible." Also, when you go to the bank, "Hey, I would like to get a loan on this property, right? I'm going to get a loan on this property. Do you have the credentials to actually buy this property and operate this property?" "Oh, well, take a look at my portfolio over here," right? "Take a look at all I've done." "Oh, I see. Yes, you can do it." So now, if you notice on this screen, this is 500 something units. Well, when it came time to buy 670 units, we were easily able to do that as well. And
Right.
now that we have 670 units, plus this, plus that, plus that, plus that, plus that, we have 1,800 units. If a property that was 1,000 units came our way, we could say yes to it, right?
Yeah. And we also have the economies of scale of having the relationships in place with property management and being able to execute in a neighborhood and execute in a metro, and having the team in place is what provides the confidence to take down deals like this.
Right, right. Vinny, actually, before the call, you said something very interesting, and I'm going to set you up, right? A lot of people on this call have issues with raising money. They're kind of scared. They feel like they're asking a favor when in reality, you're providing an opportunity for your friends and family to invest in your deal, right? So
Right.
we have some investors that have invested in our deals, and some of them invested at a high amount, like $250,000 or more, right? What did you tell me about those who invested with us already? What were they doing? What was the pattern you saw?
Yeah, yeah, I love this. We have a very high rate of repeat investors, and particularly people with, let's be frank, lots of money, right? People who are investing more than $250,000 per syndication. They come back around 70 to 80% of the time. And so what that kind of tells me is when there's an opportunity to presents itself, and when someone has the capital to do so, people are very happy to be. We're talking about the DeRosa Group specifically, of course, very happy to get back in. in real estate in general, and particularly in some of these deals that we target. We love to focus on cash flow for the reason that Home was presenting before. DC11 Diamond Ridge has increased NOI more than 68%, more than 70%, or about 70%, right? So that's cash flow coming into investors' pockets every month or every quarter, depending on the investment share class that you're in. But this is what people like. So yeah, that I love that data. I feel like it's reassuring that. So $56 million of capital raised. There's some confirmation bias there that people are happy, right, to come back and give that money repeatedly
Right.
to do business like this.
Right. And I wanted to highlight that because for you guys who are nervous about raising money for doing it in a syndication model being there's a general partner who does all of the work. They're the ones who find the property. They're the ones who turn over the units. They're the ones who get all the work done, right? That's the general partner. Then there's the limited partners. Those are the people who bring the money, right? And then together, that syndication model allows you to afford a property like this, the 336 unit, right? It allows you to afford a property like that and also to turn it around, to operate it, right? But for those who are nervous about raising the money for the first time, you got to get over it because you got to understand that you have this opportunity where maybe it's you get to double the value in 2 years, right? You get to double the value in 2 years. Maybe that's an opportunity. You get to make $17 million out of thin air like we talked about earlier, right?
Right.
But once you do it, and this is why you have to do it. Once you do it, if you deliver on what you said you were going to do, doing your next deal will be 10 times easier because all you're going to do is call the same people. Hey, you know that other deal that we did? We're doing it again. Would you like to be in? They say yes. 10 times easier. Guys, that's how the rich get richer, right?
Think
That's
about it this way too. It's funny because I was most afraid to come to friends and family with things like this, opportunities like this. But you look at what the slide showed. The slide said before, and let me pull it back up. Well, the
which
previous slide showing the returns, right? When you're on this side of it and you're giving this money out to investors and everyone's winning, it would feel guilty or wrong to not bring those to the people that you're closest with. And that's why
that's
that's why
that's
building relationships is so important because you want to benefit the people that you know, like, and trust the most. So
that is a
um,
great point, Vinny. That's a great point. How you doing? Good afternoon, Kevin from Lakeland, Florida. Good to see you. Happy to have you on here. But back to what Vinny just
yeah,
said. If you look at all the way on the right, it says average IRR of 21.94%. Let's just call it 22%, right? We got an average 22% IRR, internal rate of return. Guys, you get to offer your friends and family a 22% rate of return compared to whatever else that they're investing in. I saw a CD the other day at the bank, right? It was on the TV screen, certificate of deposit, and it was super high. Super high meaning 3%. 3%. This is
yeah,
22, right? Big difference.
yeah,
Big difference. And that's what you get to do. And here's the other thing. You are the one in control of the investment for them, right? You are in control of the investment for them, not somebody else. Imagine if you
right.
told them to invest in FTX, that cryptocurrency exchange that just went bankrupt. What if you were like, oh, yeah, you should invest with them? They're a great operator. And then they go bankrupt, right? How bad would you feel? How bad would you feel about that? So just be careful about telling people about other investments that are good versus the one that you know about, right? So you guys get to be this operator. And now, maybe you're not ready yet. You can be an investor in one of our deals in the future, maybe, right? That there's a process, but you can see from the inside also how that goes. So if you're looking for that opportunity in the future, that may come up. But this conversation today is about you guys learning how to become an operator yourself and raising money from friends and family so that you guys can provide a 22% IRR to them, right? We got a comment right here. Matt says Main Street greater than Wall Street. Absolutely. Wall Street doesn't care. They said, what was it? An index fund, just like your regular like a regular index fund, outperforms 99% of
Uh,
mutual funds. These are funds that are managed, actively
right.
managed by people who are supposedly smart. who are on Wall Street, who are smarter than you with money, right? They can't beat the returns of something like an index fund that just sits there with the top 500 companies. So why do you even pay them? Why? Right? So there's all kinds of things that are broken in Wall Street. So Matt, thank you for that comment. There's all kinds of things broken in that in Wall Street, but you know, if you know better, you do better. And today I'm hoping to help you guys do better, to see what opportunities exist for you guys to create a 22% IRR return for your friends and family. The fact that you guys can be in charge of a 9-figure portfolio with 1,800 units. That's crazy, right?
Mm.
That's just insane money right there. And what's more insane is that it's just regular guys like me and Vinny doing this. That's what's the most insane, because we didn't grow up thinking, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to become multifamily investors. We're going to be a part of a syndication. We're going to be part of a group that's taking down hundreds of units at a time, right? You don't think that growing up, but then you get involved and then you get to see how money is really created, how by buying assets, it generates this passive income and you create all of this equity and increase your net worth and increase the net worth of your friends and family and allow them to have passive income so that they can go spend time with their friends and family. It's so amazing that you get to do that. But you got to learn how to do that. So let's talk about how to do that, right? Let's talk about how to do that. So I talked a little bit about our portfolio here. I talked about Diamond Ridge, what we did. We bought the property. We renovated the property. We put $2.5 million of rehab money into it so far. So far, right? But there is going to be more. We're still turning around units. The value's still going up, right? I talked about like we installed a playground, we did a swimming pool, dog park, and we did the police thing to get rid of the drug dealers, right? We lit up the building with the exterior lights, and just bit by bit by bit, we are turning around this gigantic building. Can you imagine calling a place and saying, "Hey, I need 110 refrigerators"? Like that's a huge order for somebody, but it's pretty cool when you get to do that. I remember Justin. We bought so much paint, the place ran out, and so we had to go somewhere and pick up paint in a pickup truck. Right, gallons, like hundreds and hundreds of gallons of paint. So that's what it takes. That's what it takes. But we're gonna be going over all of that in our property tour. So we have a property tour, Vinny, right? We have a property tour coming up. Vinny, when is this property tour? Do you remember?
December 7th through 9th, and it's all makes sense why we're focusing so much on the Winston-Salem opportunities here in the Winston-Salem portfolio, of DeRosa's portfolio of Winston-Salem. It's because we want to provide an opportunity to walk these properties, right? 3 properties. Hoan touched on $2.5 million of capital improvements so far. The budget there is 3.6 million some odd, right? So
Yeah.
there's always stuff going on. There's always contractors there. Things are bustling and moving, and we want to provide a chance to do what we do on the day to day, not theoretically, not from a book, but walking the streets with us and walking these properties. So, Hoan, take it away. Maybe walk through some of the highlights of the itinerary and what we want to provide for folks.
All right, so this is a 3-day event, right? 3-day event. We got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, as you guys can see on the screen. So Wednesday, it's pretty chill, pretty relaxed networking event. We're gonna have hors d'oeuvres, dinners, open bar, rooftop. I've been to the rooftop; it's beautiful. We've had a lot of events at this place before, and it's a great way to just meet one another and talk about what you're up to, what they're up to, where they're from, and what you're trying to do is you're building your team. This is your future wealth building team, right? You're getting together and you're learning who's who, what's what, and who has what resource. Here's what's fun. If you're somebody who's like, hey, I found a deal, but I don't really know people with money, right? I don't know friends and family with money. You might meet somebody at the rooftop and you're talking and they're like, oh yeah, I have all of the money. I just don't have any time, right? I have all of the money. I have so many friends with money. I just don't have any time. If you find a deal, I'll bring the money. All of a sudden, you guys have a syndication there, right? Where this person, he's on your team, and you guys are the GP, and the LPs are coming from his friends and family. That could be a wonderful connection. Also, you may be struggling with some ideas of like how to do something. How does a syndication work? How do you pay for it? What's the paperwork? What's the LP returns? How is that structured? What's a waterfall? I've heard of this waterfall thing before, right? And so you guys get to talk that out. But You guys get to talk that out, but we're going to be teaching you guys that as well. Now, before we get
Yeah.
into teaching you guys, the next day, Thursday, it's a full day of property tours. Now, of course, we're going to feed you. We're going to have breakfast, and that's another time where you're going to meet and greet and all that kind of stuff. And you're going to feel like you've known each other for years because we're going to have all of these moments where you're going to be networking. It's going to be like a guided networking event, right? We're going to be talking to you guys, and then we're going to have you guys highlight some of the things that need to be highlighted so that other people know how to work with you. So we're going to make it a really powerful event where you're going to meet people who are going to be with you for the rest of your life. Then we're going to take the tour to all of the different properties, right? We're going to go see residences at Diamond Ridge, villas at the Vineyard, townhomes at Little Creek, right? We're going to go to all of these properties. When we're at the properties, this is where you are going to get street smart. There's book smart. That's seminars. That's lectures. That is literally reading books, right? You are book smart. But now you're going to go to the property. You're going to meet the property managers. You're going to meet the contractors. We might even talk to some of the tenants that are around, right? And you're going to see what it's like to actually run one of these projects. It's one thing for me to constantly just say the number 336, 336, 336. It's another thing to be at that leasing office and look around, and everywhere you look, as you're spinning around, everywhere you look is part of your project. That was the coolest part for me. I remember standing at the street, looking around. It's like all of these buildings are ours, and all of these, and all of those, and all of those, and even the ones that I can't see back there. That's the coolest part, right? That was the coolest part, just to know, wow, we own this, right? We own this, and the other cool part is we're much richer because we own it, because we raised the value so much. We made $17 million out of thin air. This is the street smart component. You're going to be walking with the property manager, the contractors, all that. Like Vinny said, they're going to point out things. Look for this. Look for this. You see that?
Right.
That's signs of this. That's signs of that. This is water damage. This is structural damage. This is no damage at all. Like all of those kind of things to be mindful of. I remember we used to have like an infestation of like just stray cats at the
Yeah.
building. It's like, what do you do about that?
You
Right?
might still see some stray cats there if you guys come too. So we'd be
Right.
happy. Yeah.
Free cats to
Yeah.
anybody who comes, right? So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
just
Actually.
there's little things that you have to deal with that you never even think that you have to deal with, right?
Right.
Little things you never think you're going to have to deal with that here you go. This is how we handled it. And
Right.
all it takes is for you to gain just a couple of nuggets. One, it's going to increase your confidence to actually take action. And then two, once you've taken action, once you've owned a property, you now know what to do when a situation arises quicker, faster, more efficiently, and by keeping more money in your pocket because you're not going to spitball and try to figure something out. You're going to know what to do because you've seen it. You've seen
Yeah.
it firsthand at the property. So, full day, bus tour. We load you up and we drive you location after location after location. We're going to have lunch. We're going to have dinner. All of that stuff, right? We're even going to have drinks at the end. So this full day, you're sitting with other people who are here to learn, who are asking questions that sometimes you don't even know to ask, but will benefit you. Somebody's going to ask about financing in such a way that you're going to be like, wow, I didn't even know I needed to know that. And that's what's important. And that's what's powerful, being around all of these people who are able to ask these very poignant questions that further your development. All right. So now, nighttime, dinner, drinks, just hanging out, relaxing, having a good time, right? Then the next day, this is the back to the books, back to the books. Now that you've seen the property tour, you've gone through all of the buildings, you know what's what. We go back to a conference room, and that's where, again, we're going to feed you, of course, right? But we're going to break down all of the things you need to know. We're going to break down things that you saw, but you didn't know you saw it. We're going to show you things that, like, here are all the different roles that were important. This is why we bought the building. This is the analysis. Here's the underwriting. Here's how we raised the money. Here's the business plan. This is how we're going to exit. How many years? Why we chose to pay the pref that we chose. Why the waterfall is structured the way it's structured. What are the other options that you have when you're raising money for your deals? right? And we're breaking it down bit by bit. And here's what's really cool. We just had a Bigger Pockets boot camp, right? We just had a Bigger Pockets boot camp. Season 3 just ended yesterday. There were things that we were maybe not allowed to share, but here we're going to give it all to you. We're going to give you everything. We're going to show you how our LOIs look and how we talk to brokers. And we're going to go over everything that we do. We're going to provide you everything that you need in terms of building this business for you. So you're going to have a whole day just learning about what to do. So it's like it's 3 days, 2 days, however you want to call it, jam-packed, full of a ton of information that will absolutely allow you to become a real estate investor, right? So let's talk about what else you get while at this boot camp. So, or not boot camp, I'm sorry, retreat, right? It's a retreat.
Retreat, yeah.
It is a
We're used to
retreat.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
let me take this slide too. I
Oh
could tell.
yeah, my
I'm
man.
excited. I'm most excited too because we've all been in some conferences and we've been in webinars and we've received some formal training. What I like to think of this is like the meal prep version of starting a syndication business, right? We hope to give you a box to walk away with that you can actually have the document templates. Not we're going to make introductions with the Rolodex of vendors you see listed there, our attorneys, our SDIRA providers. We're going to introduce you to our property management, who, by the way, is going to be spending a lot of time with us already, right? So we want to give you this theoretical knowledge, and that's what Friday's for. But we're going to give you the practical tools to go use that theoretical knowledge, and that's the hope there. So Hoan and I are here to answer all your questions about this, by the way. So please put any questions as they come up in the comments, and we'll get to them at the end of this as well. And Nobiko, if you could, please put the link to learn more in case anyone has to jump. But put the link to learn more and ask your questions away, folks. That's why we're here. But yeah, I'm really excited. We got a great hotel that we're staying at, the Courtyard by Marriott. We're going to be on the rooftop. So we're looking at 2 nights of accommodations there. We're going to be paying for food and beverage. We're also going to be providing all this usable document templates, all these usable relationships with our vendors. And we're going to arm you with the knowledge and actual tools to put that to practice, right? Because we want, going back to slide 2 or 3, wherever that is, we want you guys to be able to do what we have been able to do here so far. That's the goal. So we want to give as much of ourselves as we can in our short time together.
Right. No, it's incredible. So, like you said, hotel, food, beverages. We got the property tour. We got the bus. But here's the most important thing that's included: also our list of vendors. Right. Real estate is a team sport. Whether they're on your payroll as a W-2 employee or they're just someone you hire, either way, they are somebody you absolutely need in order to be successful at investing. And we will include a list of our vendors that we use personally. So we have an attorney that does our syndication paperwork. We're going to have our 1031 providers, self-directed IRA providers, management companies, all of that, right? All of that, all of the people that you're going to need, we're going to help you with. We're going to show you who to hire. Because if you don't have that, what are you going to do? Google? Please, Google, tell me who the best property manager is. And you're not necessarily going to get the best property manager. You might just get the best marketing property manager, the one who knows how to do SEO and all that kind of stuff, right? So
And you wouldn't get an introduction either, from Google.
Right, exactly. The other part on the other side, so on the left side is the Rolodex of vendors. On the right side are the documents that you're going to need, right? The documents that you're going to use to give to brokers to say, hey, here's my letter of intent. This is how you make offers to buy properties. We're going to give you our money raising slide decks, all of that, right? So if you're looking to raise money and you want to do it in a professional setting where you're going to have a webinar and you're going to have slide decks and all, we're going to show you what we include. So we're going to give you all of the tools in order to buy properties. So you're going to get all of that if you come to this property tour, this retreat, if you will, right? Because it's got food, accommodations, hotels, right? It's got all of that. And at this retreat, you're going to become a real multifamily investor. You're going to learn everything that you need, all put together in a box, right? All in a box for you. So, all right. Now, The other thing that you're going to the other thing that we're going to be heavily focusing on, right, is number one, having the right mindset. You got to believe that you can do this. And by being in a room of other people who have done it or who's on their way of doing it, you guys are all going to be thinking in one direction, and that's going to lift everybody up. So we're going to make sure you have the right mindset. Then we're going to show you how to find your team and who you need on your team. It's one thing to find team members, but if you don't know who you need, then who are you finding? So we're going to show you who you need, and then we're going to show you how to find them. Then we're going to help you target a market. If you guys find the right market, then you guys can benefit from a market that is just booming. You buy in the right spot and it grows like crazy and your property doubles or triples in value, then you win. So we're going to show you how to find that market.
Can I say something here too, Hoan?
Yeah, of course.
We're not just going to show you how to find it. We're going to be going with Hervé, the person who is our hunter, right? The person who's looking at deals all the time for DeRosa Group. And the reason I'm in Greensboro right now looking at a property, we're going to be sitting over Hervé's shoulder as he actually does a market analysis. So of course we're going to be teaching the theoretical how to do it all, and we'll provide all the tools, all the resources, websites, checklists of things that we do. But if you came, you'd get to sit right behind Hervé as we do this literally,
right?
Just the way he does it. So
right,
and
right, market hunting.
Yeah.
Market hunting, baby. Yeah, exactly. Once you find the market that you want to invest in, and then you find a property that you actually care to invest in, how do you underwrite the thing? Well, of course, we're going to break that down for you, right? We're going to break that down. We're going to show you what we look for. We're going to show you how to stay conservative in your underwriting so that you're not caught off guard if the market shifts too much and all of a sudden your deal doesn't work anymore, right? We're going to make it so that you have a better chance of success. And then finally, of course, the one that scares everybody, raising private capital. Raising private capital is scary. Good thing Matt Faircloth, he wrote the book on raising private capital. I think that's literally the name of his book, Raising Private Capital. So
yes.
You're going to be learning from him directly how we all raise money, right? So it's a big deal. It's a big deal, but you guys will get armed with all of this amazing information. You're going to get the hands-on property tours. So we're mixing book smart with street smart. We're putting that together, and you're going to be adequately prepared when you go out there and try to become a real estate investor for yourself. All right. So now, last but not least, this is it, right? So thank you guys.
Yep.
If you guys want to come check out our retreat, you guys can go to this link, but I would actually say go to the comment box. Check it out. Nabiko has put a link in there, DeRosaGroup.com/tour. Again, DeRosaGroup.com/tour. That is where you can find more information on how you can be a part of the tour so that you can learn all of the things that we went over, so that you can learn about how you can buy a 336 unit building or 1,800 units or more. Right? So we're going to give you everything that we have for you, and we're going to cram it into 2 days so we don't take up too much of your time, so that you guys can go and live your life and go find deals and do whatever makes you happy. Vinny, anything that you want to leave?
No, you hit the nail on the head, Hoan. Yeah, really. And that's why we're here, folks. We're here to answer your questions about this. So please put them in the comments in the last moments here. Kylie, I see your comment. I want to buy multi-units ASAP. And that's what we're here to help folks do. So we put out content every week, and we're live every Friday with this goal in mind. And we hope to really provide you with the tools to do that. Like I said, the meal prep version of it, right? A box that you could take and you have all the ingredients, and fire up the grill and out pops a multifamily apartment building.
Yeah.
Right? So we're here to answer questions. There's an email address there. Feel free always to reach out to me. I'm vceleste@DeRosaGroup.com. Happy to connect and answer questions. But I'm really looking forward to it, Hoan. How about you?
Yeah. Here, bring us back on the screen. We don't need to see the screen anymore. There we are. All right, guys. If you guys have any questions about this, feel free to put it in the chat now. We have a couple minutes left. We ended a little early, but pretty much right on time. I hope you guys can make it to this tour. Again, it's going to be a small, intimate group. We've already sold some seats. We are keeping it limited to 20. We have 20 people. If you guys are interested, you got to act soon, because once they're gone, they're gone. We do want to keep it intimate so that everybody can learn everybody's strengths. Imagine if there's 300 people or something like that. Like, you wouldn't know everybody. So make sure you guys sign up, and then who knows how your life is going to completely change from this. Something I like to say, and it has done well in my life, is if you say no to something, you know exactly what you're going to be left with, exactly what you have. But if you say yes, everything can change. And that's what happened for me as I tried to become a real estate investor so many years ago, right? Over a decade ago now. If I said no to all of the seminars and everything else, I wouldn't be a real estate investor today. It's through those seminars. It's through meeting people like Vinny and Matt and Justin and Irve and everybody else on the team. It's through those relationships. It's through the knowledge that I've got from attending events like this that completely changed my life. It's the knowledge that I have. The knowledge that I have gave me the confidence that I needed in order to take the actions that produced the results that I wanted, right? Knowledge,
Yeah.
confidence, action, results. Saying yes gives you that first step of having that knowledge you need in order to get the confidence, in order to take the action, in order to get the results. And the results is what we're all about, right? It's results.
Right.
We all want to have a better life. That's a result. That's a goal. Boil it back down. How do you get there? It all starts with knowledge, and ultimately it all starts with you saying yes to different opportunities that pop up for you. So again, if you guys want to check us out, right, go to DeRosaGroup.com/tour, TOUR, DeRosaGroup.com/tour. Ellie says, saying yes is the first action. Saying yes. You say yes, the whole world opens up. You say no, you have exactly what you have today. Nothing changes. And you already know what this is. And this isn't what you want. You know how I know that? Because you joined us on this webinar. You want something different. You want something different. You don't want
Hone,
this. Yeah.
I have a question for you. You're someone with more
Oh,
experience than me. What's more
okay.
valuable? A few deep relationships with people who are like-minded and executing something that you're passionate about, or a lots of shallow relationships?
The deep ones, for sure. The deep ones, for sure. Because when somebody knows you deeply, they'll know the buttons that are being pressed from the world. Like, as you're going through the world, they're going to know like what you're dealing with. They're going to know how your emotional temperament is. They're going to know what you like, what you dislike. And so if an opportunity pops up in their life and they know that you like that opportunity, they will call you. Hey, I got the perfect thing for
Right,
you. How
right,
can someone know what the perfect thing is if they don't know you that well? Only people with deep relationships will that ever happen. So if I know, Vinny, you like chocolate, and I find the perfect chocolate cake, I'm gonna be like, yo, Vinny, I got the perfect chocolate cake for you because I know you love chocolate, right? It's that kind of thing. Going deep like that will allow you to magnify your results. It's kind of like you guys watching, and I know you guys have heard this. Millionaires have 7 streams of income, right? Well, here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. The millionaire most likely did not get to become a millionaire with all 7 streams. What they did was they got one stream and they made it really big, right? They became the millionaire from the one stream. And then from there, because they were good enough to become a millionaire from that one stream, they were able to add on other streams of income that were related to that first stream. So then that second stream and third stream and fourth stream were really great streams because the first one was so strong. That's kind of like the relationship. You don't want to have 7 diluted companies all paying you $5 here and $10 there. No, you want one stream that pays you $1 million. And then when you throw on a second symbiotic relationship, symbiotic company, then all of a sudden you're making $2 million, right? You don't start with 7. Just like with your question, is it better to have a whole bunch of friends that are shallow or a couple that are deep? I would say a couple that are deep because that's how you're going to make a lot of money because it's hyper focused. And then once you have these really deep relationships, you spread out. These deep relationship with friends, they will introduce you to other people that you should know, right? And then
right.
you get really deep with those. You don't want to necessarily be friends with everybody because not everybody is on your page and going in your direction. There's a lot of people who will shoot you down. They say, don't share your ideas, right? Don't share your ideas. Well, it's not that you shouldn't share your ideas. And sometimes people go, oh, don't share your ideas because they're going to steal your ideas. No, that's not it. Nobody wants to steal your ideas because everybody has ideas. They say, don't share your ideas with other people because if you share your idea with the wrong person, they're going to make you feel bad about it. They're going to show you what's going to go wrong with it. They're going to tell you how risky it is. And they're going to make you second guess yourself. And so then you never take action. And if you never take action, you don't get results. Remember, knowledge, confidence, action, results. If you don't take action, you don't get results. Be careful who you share your ideas with. Talk to the right people. Share your ideas with them. And all of a sudden, they make you feel like you can accomplish anything. That's what's going to happen at this retreat. We're going to share with you our ideas. You're going to share with us your ideas. And we're all going to encourage each other to move forward and do really well.
Thanks so much, Hoan, and thanks for joining us. We're really looking forward to the event. We want to help people build those deep relationships. Like we were talking about, right? $17 million of equity created that's returned back to investors, right? But that opportunity is not open to the whole wide world, right? It's people that you know, like, and trust. So we want to help people build those relationships. And what better way than retreating with just a small group of 20 folks, right? So there's a link in the comments to learn more, right? DeRosaGroup.com/tour. Take that QR code at the very first link is there as well. And always feel free to reach out to me. My email address is in the comments as well, vceleste@DeRosaGroup.com. Thanks so much for joining us, you guys. Really appreciate it.
All right, guys. See you later.